A global crisis, and the leaders of the world's 7 wealthiest countries lost in the deep, dark woods with a giant brain. Our film columnist, Jason Gorber, here to tell us more about Rumours. It is the latest film from the wonderfully weird mind of Winnipeg's Guy Maddin. Jason, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing well.
Yeah, we got a weirdo one day.
This is weird. Like I'm with you until the giant brain in the forest. How does this all come together?
So we have Guy Maddin. A lot of people will know him for decades. The best way to describe him is almost like aliens came by. We skipped over almost 100 years of cinema, and suddenly he started making movies as if nothing had changed technologically. This is also in collaboration with people he's been working with for a while. So it is a Guy Maddin thing, which a lot of people internationally know, but also Evan and Galen Johnson, also Winnipeggers, also very much contributing to the story. So this sort of triptych have come together to tell a story about members of the G7 who are at a retreat, and then suddenly fog rolls in, bog monsters show up, giant brains show up, and all kinds of weird stuff happens. Now, in fairness to this film, yes, it is bonkers. Yes, it is the kind of strange offset kind of thing that we've come to expect from these guys. But it is very much a character piece. It's very much something that's sort of fascinating, interpersonal dynamic. And given everything politically that's going on now, it's a really remarkable look at what happens with a bunch of disparate people come together in times of crisis and actually trying to find out what their strengths and weaknesses are. But because they are the leaders of these nations, we get to sort of revel in some of the most ridiculous of our stereotypes.
Where does it sit on the continuum of Guy Maddin weirdness?
Less weird in a funny way. Obviously, the Johnsons very much have a role in this, and it's not to diminish Guy's involvement at all. But what is to say is like a Guy Maddin film often is black and white and almost like a weird silent film. This is not. This is almost a straightforward character piece, except it has all of this bizarreness sort of baked into it. This is one of those films that I think some people will be absolutely ecstatic and actually jumping in immediately, but other people will be like, oh my God, this is too weird for me. It's weird, but it's still in some ways accessible, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. There's still a linearity to the storytelling. This isn't like a David Lynch where stuff just happens and often you're completely confounded as to what's going on. So above all, the most critical thing is it's very funny. It's a black comedy. And because of that, the surrealism isn't there to be off-putting or to be horrific or to be completely pulling you away. It's drawing you in at the insanity. And again, the film premiered at Cannes. It played out of competition at Cannes. And I was having to explain to all my American and European colleagues what prorogation meant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So there's an exquisite prorogation joke in here. And it's that kind of nerdy, silly. In Canada, we've had many, many political controversies, and often our controversies do not rise to the level of existential or global import. They're very important to us here often, and for very justifiable reasons.
But not globally.
But it seems that when the global people have controversies, they're at an epic level.
They do it big. Yeah.
Exactly. And so a lot of that is here. It's like, what is a Canadian's view of when things really go bad and who takes responsibility in all of those elements?
I know you don't always like boxes, but is this a comedy?
It's absolutely a black comedy.
It is, okay.
Yeah. It's for sure black comedy. It's a surreal black comedy that involves giant brains and weird bog monsters. But it also involves, and the most critical thing here is involves Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, how did she get involved in this?
So this is great. So the story is, I managed way back when I was at Munich, I did a Q&A with the producers for this, and we talked about this. And so the film was going to be shot in Winnipeg. It was this little thing funded by Telefilm. And then Cate Blanchett became involved. She did the Criterion Closet, those videos where people go into the closet at Criterion's office, the disc place where people support Criterion Collection, and she pulled up Brand Upon the Brain, one of Guy Maddin's films, and talked about how much she loved him. And the producer's like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
one of the great actors of all time is really interested." And that all tied in. And then within months, the entire production shifted. It ended up shooting at this incredible place in Hungary, I believe it was, somewhere in Central Europe, with German co-producers, and it became this European-Canadian co-production in a much richer way. And I mean, there's a bunch of other people in it that a lot of people will know, but Cate Blanchett is really the hook here. And this is the fundamental thing. She became involved because she loves Guy Maddin. She became involved because this country has supported somebody who's this weirdo, bonkers filmmaker for years, like Guy Maddin. And by making films like this, by doing things that are sort of at the edge of normalcy, outside the normal Hollywood system, etc., we are generating art. We're generating cinema that engages some of the world's great talent. And it's because of that. It's because of taking chances that we actually bring attention to the greatness. French-Canadian cinema has been doing this forever, but in English language, our competition with Hollywood is so complicated that our biggest directors, people like Denis Villeneuve, James Cameron, go to Hollywood. But people like Maddin and the Johnsons are doing stuff. Yes, it's a co-production, but this is such a fundamentally and beautifully and weirdly Canadian film that it deserves to be supported, not out of nationalistic pride, but just because everybody complains like they don't make, all movies are the same, they're all cookie cutter. I promise you have never seen a film like Rumours. And on a last point, the title obviously evokes the sort of relationship drama of the recording of that record. So it's a subtle allusion to how do you bring something together when everyone is falling apart, like the Fleetwood Mac record. Fleetwood Mac, Group of Seven, Giant Brains, Bog Monsters. Go see Rumours.
You're on fire for a Friday early morning. Look at you. Well done.
Thank you,
Jason
sir.
Gorber, thank you very much.
All the best.
That's Jason Gorber, Metro Morning's film columnist and, of course, editor-in-chief of ThatShelf.com. Rumours in theaters today.
That shelf.